What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Oak Tree Football Channel. And in today's video, I'm going to be making my record prediction for the Green Bay Packers. Now, the Packers were a very good team last year, finished 13-3, and made it to the conference championship game, but they lost to, of course, the 49ers. It wasn't that close of a game, really, from the start. The 49ers just dominated that game. But it was a very good season for the most part for the Packers last year. And they definitely have a lot of talent going into this year, and they could have another big season. But they have a big problem. That was their draft was just really, really bad. I mean, they took a quarterback in the first round. I understand what the thinking was there, but I just don't understand them trading up for it. And I think they could have gotten a position where, it would help them more right now than help them in the future. And then in the second round, they drafted a running back when they already have two very capable starting running backs. They didn't draft a wide receiver, which was arguably their biggest position of need. I mean, they have Davante Adams, but they really don't have a serious number 2 wide receiver. They have a few guys that can play wide receiver, but they're still going to need more help at wide receiver. Their defense, they definitely have some good pieces on the defense, but there definitely are some pieces that aren't as good that you would like. So it just was not the best offseason for the Packers. They should still have a good season. They should still be towards the top of the NFC North, but I definitely think it will be a step back from last year. But let's get into this prediction. They went 13-3 last year, like I said, and they started off with a game on the road at the Minnesota Vikings. Now, the Vikings are a pretty interesting team this year. They made the playoffs last year as well. This is a divisional game, of course. The Vikings made the playoffs last year. They beat the Saints in the first round. And I don't know why, but I just don't have the best feeling about the Vikings this year. I mean, they are losing a lot. Their 3 best cornerbacks and arguably their best wide receiver. They still have Adam Thielen, who's a fantastic wide receiver, but they're losing Stephon Diggs, who was also a really, really good wide receiver. So this is a team that's going to be losing a lot. Kirk Cousins is a really interesting quarterback because he's been good, but has he been good enough? That's really the question. But I do really see the Packers having a tough game here on the road in Minnesota. This is a game that really could go either way. Both teams are definitely capable of winning this game, but for right now, I'm going to go with the Vikings. I think the Vikings are a very talented team. This is a home game for the Minnesota Vikings, so I'm going to pick the Vikings. I think easily the Packers could win this one, but I think the same about the Vikings. So I'm going to pick the Vikings. Week 2, they play at home against the Lions. Now, I think the Lions will get better this year, but this is one of the games that I just don't see them winning. So the Lions, absolutely, I think they got better this offseason. If Matt Stafford can stay healthy, that'll be really, really good. But I just don't see them beating the Packers in Lambeau. I mean, the Packers are really, really good in Lambeau, and the Packers absolutely are better than the Lions. I still think the Lions will be better this year, but I just think I feel like the Packers are the better team. This should be an easy one for them. Week 3 is a game I just don't see them winning on the road at the New Orleans Saints. In my opinion, the New Orleans Saints are either the best or the second best team in the NFC. The only other team that's really up there is the 49ers, in my opinion, and maybe the Seahawks. But the Saints are just a very, very good team, in my opinion, and they should have a fantastic year. And this game is at home for the Saints. I just don't really see the Packers doing it. I think the Packers are a very good team, and if this is a home game for the Packers could easily win. But I just think the Saints being at home, it's going to be too tough. I'm going to pick the Saints. Week 4, they play the Falcons at home. The Falcons are a very interesting team, in my opinion. They're very, very talented, especially on offense. And they do have some good pieces on defense as well. But they're on the road for this game. The Falcons have a really, really tough schedule this year. This is a home game for the Packers. This is a game that could go either way. The Packers have a lot of games like that this season, which I'll talk more about later. But I'm going to give the win to the Packers in this one. I think they'll be able to get the win at home. It could be close, but I'm going to give the Packers a win. Week 5, they have a bye. Really bad bye. You definitely want to have your bye later in the season. It's pretty early. And even though it's coming off a tough game, going into a tough road game, it still definitely could be in a better spot. Week 6, they play on the road at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, the Buccaneers are receiving a lot of hype this offseason because they got Tom Brady, because they got Rob Gronkowski. But personally, I don't know if the Buccaneers are actually going to be that good. Honestly, I could see the Buccaneers missing the playoff. I do think that's a possibility. I think the Buccaneers are a good team, but I don't think they're a great team. I don't think they'll win the division, but they'll be close. But this is a game that could go either way. Being at home for the Buccaneers is really, really big for them because that's going to give them a lot of help, I think. But the Packers, I mean, they could absolutely win. It's Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady, two of the best quarterbacks of all time. I am going to give the win to the Buccaneers, though. I think the Buccaneers are a great team. Like I said, I am not as high on them as some other people are, but I still think they're a great team. And this is a road game for the Packers, so I'm going to give the win to the Buccaneers. Week 7, they play the Texans. Texans are a team that got a lot worse this offseason. Even though they definitely are a talented team, they still got a lot worse this season. And the main reason for that was losing DeAndre Hopkins for basically nothing. One of the worst trades in the NFL in a long time. So it'll probably be a step back. I still expect the Texans to be a pretty good team, specifically because Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is a very, very good quarterback in my opinion, and just him alone could be enough for the Texans to be good this season. I'm going to give the win to the Packers, though. I think the Packers are better than the Texans. I think the Packers were better than the Texans last year, and when the Texans are losing arguably their best player, I'm going to go with the Packers. This is a road game for the Packers, so I could see the Texans winning, but I'm going to go with the Packers. Week 8, they play the Vikings, this time at home. I'm going to give them the win in this one. I think the Vikings are a good team, but I think they will take a step back this year. This is a home game for the Packers. I feel comfortable giving them the win in this one. I definitely think it could be a close game, but I think the Packers are good enough to get the win in this one. Week 9, they play on the road with the 49ers, and this is one of the other games that I just don't see the Packers winning. The 49ers are one of the best teams. I talked about it. In my opinion, the two best teams in the NFC are the Saints and the 49ers. The Packers, I just don't see it happening. 49ers are a lot better than the Packers in my opinion, and this is a road game for the Packers. Last year's NFC Championship game, it just wasn't close when these two teams played, and I think it can be closer this time. But I don't see it happening, to be honest. I'm absolutely going to give the win to the 49ers. Just think they're better. I don't really see this being the closest game. I mean, I think it's possible to be close, but also I could just see 49ers destroying the Packers. Week 10, they play the Jaguars at home. They should have no problem in this one. A lot of people are saying the Jaguars are the worst team in the NFL. I don't think they're the worst team in the NFL, but I definitely think they're near there. So I'm absolutely going to give this one to the Packers. Week 11, they play on the road to the Colts. In my opinion, the Colts are being a bit overrated by some people, but I still think the Colts are a pretty good team, and I could see the Packers really struggling in this one. This is a good point for the Colts to have this game because Phillip Rivers will probably be more settled in at this point. So I could actually really see the Colts winning this game. It's also definitely possible for the Packers. This is a game that's probably going to go either way, but I'm actually going to give the win to the Colts. I feel the Colts are a pretty good team, and I think they'll be able to get the win in this one. It's going to be close. I definitely think so. I don't think the Colts are going to destroy the Packers. It's going to be an interesting game, but I'm going to give the win to the Indianapolis Colts. Week 12, they play the Bears at home. If this is a road game, it could be closer. And the Packers do play the Bears on the road this season. But I think the Packers are better than the Bears, to be honest. Bears just don't know what they're doing at quarterback. They have a lot of positions of need, in my opinion. So I think the Packers will win this one at home. Week 13, they play the Eagles. Personally, I think the Eagles will be pretty good this year. I am an Eagles fan, but realistically, I actually do think the Eagles have a very talented roster this year. The NFC East is definitely getting a lot tougher this year. I know a lot of people still think it's the worst, but it is getting a lot better this season with the Cowboys. Definitely could be a contender. I think the Eagles are a very good team this season. If they can stay healthy, they can actually be one of the best teams in the NFL. But they just haven't been able to stay healthy for the past few years. Even the year when they won the Super Bowl, they weren't able to stay healthy for a lot of the season. If they can stay healthy this year, I really do think they will be Super Bowl contenders. Carson Wentz is getting a lot of unnecessary criticism because apparently his stats just aren't good enough. But the only reason for that is he really isn't playing with the best wide receivers. And he's still putting up good stats. 27 touchdowns to 7 interceptions last year is really, really good for really not having a true number one receiver. And if these guys can stay healthy, if the receivers can stay healthy, if the running backs can stay healthy, if Carson Wentz can stay healthy, the Eagles are a serious contender in not just the NFC, but potentially in the NFL. This is a game that could go either way. It really could go either way. I'm going to pick the Packers in a close one because the Packers are at home for this game. I still think the Packers are a very good team. it could go either way. I really think so. I'm going to go with the Packers, but I would not be surprised to see the Eagles win. Week 14 on the road against the Lions. I think the Lions are going to be a lot better this year, like I said earlier. And I could actually see the Lions sneaking a win in this one, but I think the Packers are still good enough, even in Detroit. I'm gonna give the win to the Packers. Could be a close one, but I can give the Packers the win. Week 15 they played the Panthers. Panthers, in my opinion, are one of the worst teams in the NFL this season. I mean, I don't think they're a bad team, but they're just not. They have a tough schedule, and I just don't think they're as talented as some other teams. I still think they're talented, but they're just missing some important pieces that they really need, in my opinion, to be a serious contender. So I think the Panthers will be fine this year, and I'm going to give the Packers an easy win at home. Week 16, they play the Titans. Now, this is an interesting one because the Titans are easily one of the better teams in the NFL. They have so much talent. Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, A.J. Brown going into his second year, and that's just the offense. Their defense is really, really good as well. It should be a good season for the Titans, and even though this is a home game for the Packers, I'm actually going to give the win to the Titans. I think the Titans are good enough to get the win, and especially if we're not going to see fans, this is going to be a tough one for the Packers. So I'm actually going to give the Titans the win. Wouldn't be surprised if the Packers won. This is another one of those games that could go either way. The Packers have so many games like that this season. I mean, the Vikings game could go either way. The Falcons game could go either way. The Buccaneers game, Texans game, the other Vikings game, the Colts game, the Eagles game, even the Lions game, and now the Titans game. There's so many games that could just go any direction, and I really wouldn't feel surprised. But I'm going to give the Titans the win here, and then Week 17 they play on the road with the Bears. I see this being a close game. I see the Bears putting up a better fight than the other time these teams played, but I'm going to give the win to the Packers. I think the Packers are good enough because I just think there are too many problems with this Bears team that need to be fixed before they are a serious contender. I still think they're a good team, but I still think there need to be some holes that need to be fixed. But now, as I always do, I'll go through each game once again, and I'll give my prediction for who I think will win. Week 1, I'm losing against the Vikings. I've been beating the Lions in Week 2, but losing to the Saints in Week 3. I think they'll beat the Falcons before their bye, and I think they'll lose to the Buccaneers. I think they'll beat the Texans and the Vikings. I think they will lose to the 49ers. I think they'll beat the Jaguars. I think they'll lose to the Colts. I think they'll beat the Bears, beat the Eagles, beat the Lions, beat the Panthers, lose to the Titans, and beat the Bears to have a record of 10-6 on the year. They don't have the toughest of schedules, but I just think there are some problems with this team. I mean, their draft just wasn't good enough, and I still think there are definitely some problems on this team. So, I mean, it could be better than this. It absolutely could, but I'm going to go with 10-6. They have a lot of games that could really go either way. I'm going to go with 10-6, but that's going to be it for this video. If you guys did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like, and if you are new around here, feel free to subscribe for more NFL and college football content. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.